Much shalom and greetings to you all. How was your eclipse experience, everyone? Were you careful? Did you wear glasses? They say, and I'm not sure who they are, but they say that there's no pain receptors in the eye, and so you cannot tell if you actually did damage to yourself. Blinded by the light, ripped up like a goose, another runner in the night. Blinded by the light. He said, she said, they said, we use them like the he, she, they is some authority. Godlike almost. Always ask who said. You might decide they're not worth listening to. Now, of course, eclipses happen far more often than people realize. An eclipse marks a new moon. And this new moon was the technical first day of the year, according to the Bible. But I didn't notice too many New Year celebrations. What really is important about this particular one is that with the beginning of the year, we begin to set in motion the year we want to fashion. So continue to create the life you want. And we know these first few weeks are a chance to create and get ready, because on the full moon of the month, we're going to celebrate freedom. Now, this is something celebrated for thousands of years. The Festival of Unleavened Bread. And here's a little nugget from my dear friend Al. I was having some matzah the other day. Yes, I eat matzah other than at Passover. And I was thinking of bread. You know, only since 1921, something came around. A company selling sliced bread nationwide. And its background was actually fairly interesting. It was a precursor to VIP. And I know only a few of you actually know VIP. It's a product that was designed to meet an advertised event. Well, in 1921, there was a series of advertisements announcing something wonderful was coming on May 21st. And thus was born Wonder Bread. Who doesn't remember Wonder Bread? True staple throughout the 60s and probably 70s. Ultimately enriched with vitamins to help build strong bodies. 12 ways, I think. Yeah. I don't even know if it exists anymore. It also helped give rise to the saying, the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it was Wonder Bread I was actually thinking about. And I was thinking about the first Wonder Bread. Well, the real Wonder Bread is matzah. It was a bread specifically made for the priests and eaten for a week during the Festival of Unleavened Bread, because that's what Passover is actually called. It's the Festival of Unleavened Bread. So that the people would be elevated for the week and be priest-like. But getting back to the new moon, there's actually an eclipse somewhere every time there's a new moon. But if it's not here, we don't seem to care. People keep talking about how the next one's like 20 years or 40 years or something. Well, actually, the next one's in 2 years. But if you're not in Portugal, you're not going to see it. But the thought and power of an eclipse is magical. It certainly takes the new moon to a new level. It makes the new moon extra special. Once upon a time, I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can say, total eclipse of the heart. And I was speaking with someone who saw a long-lost love. In fact, last year I married someone who reconnected with their first love, the one you never forget. And those are the ones who probably bring on the most eclipses of the heart. But if nothing else, the eclipse shows you the incredible majesty of creation. The moon is just the right size, the right distance to cover the sun completely. It truly is an inspiring event. What further proof do you need that there is a far greater power in the universe than us? The exactitude, the perfection of motion, of gravity, of light, of dark, of seasons, of time itself. You know, and I was thinking of my dear friend Fievel in Jerusalem, a wonderful man with a beautiful soul. And even though Passover's coming, thinking of Jerusalem reminded me that 1 month from now there is a double holiday of Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. The first is the Israeli Memorial Day, the official remembrance day for the military members of the nation, which is just about everyone. And if you've ever been fortunate enough to be at Mount Herzl National Cemetery for the celebration, it is truly riveting. The other is Independence Day, commemorating when David Ben-Gurion publicly read the Declaration of Independence of Israel on its creation. And we should all everywhere honor our independence, our freedoms, our inalienable rights to joy and self-determination, our God-given rights to truly live in the image of God. Now, even solemn occasions are celebratory. Human beings are gregarious creatures. Since the dawn of time, we've created groups, societies, communities. And we're reading about the formation of a society in the desert, the wilderness generation. They are different than every other generation. But if our need to congregate and be social is timeless, the form that our communities take is deeply influenced by historical circumstances and by current events. And history is going to have much to say about these times and this society. Would you ever believe it's now been more than 6 months since the terror attack on the only democracy in the Middle East? She stands alone. More than 135 people and or bodies, because we don't know how many people are still alive, are still waiting to be returned home. Why does no one care? Why do people hate Jews so much? I've always wondered that. Why does the so-called civilized world kowtow to maniacs? It's never worked before. It certainly won't work this time either. Hey, I remember when Detroit was Motor City, Motown, home of the Tigers, the Lions, both champions, the birthplace of the auto industry, an industry that put America on wheels and formalized the American dream. Where Gordy Berry created a music industry that changed life and the makeup of society and music as we know it. And where now they openly shout, death to America, death to Israel, and publicly burn both flags. The people of Michigan are truly Michigas. Now, most people aren't like that. There is a great silent majority who still believe in decency, life, honor, friendship, like Shoshi in Los Angeles, who carries love in her heart and shares it with all who need love. And who doesn't need love? Everybody does. And of course, the fairy godmother. We all need one. We probably all have one, even if we haven't always met formally. They're always there to turn that pumpkin into a coach. Because we are a community. The concept of community is central to Judaism, which again is the forefront in today's and next week's readings, to the ethos of the Jewish people. But community, our way of being together, our way of organizing our collective lives, has changed and evolved as the world transforms. In the 21st century, and societies rocked by philosophical, technological, social, economic upheavals, in a world where many of the old patterns of behavior, affiliation, and identity have changed and continue to change, the traditional model of community is actually in crisis. Let's take this opportunity to come together like we always have. A community putting differences aside. A like-minded group, collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith. All are welcome. Love, any and all love. True chavura, fellowship. As we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. Sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. Even though together we are all individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know. Some physically, the rest digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all, as we gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hinei Matov, come together. Hinei Matov, Shevet Achim Yachad. Hinei Matov, Shevet Achim Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community. So let's all send love, goodwill, fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, and believe it or not, we all believe in something. part of your kavanah, your intention. It's a very special word. It's what you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. Your intention is what sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. So let's take some time now. Let's use that intention. Let's send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing, renewal out to everyone you know that needs it. Because healing and renewal are for everybody. It just floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup, and a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal, for goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It's generally a prayer used to help heal the sick, but it doesn't have to be. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those who need assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us. For Buffy, Lisa. For Roxanne and Suzanne. For Tommy, Becky. For the Cardinal and Barbara. For Gary. For Jana. For Kathleen and Ken. For Carla and Mina and Jessica. For Leanne and Lucy. For Gabby, Marilyn and Maria. For Charles. For Shelley. For Pam and Gloria. For Stephanie and Andy and Joel. For Terry, John and Maria. For Dory and Teresa. For Johnny and Fern. For Connie and Ronnie. For Maya and Tally. For Luke. For Danny and Nina. For all those suffering everywhere. Let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives. All of our sacred animal friends everywhere. For everybody you know that's in need. For the whole world. And for Devorah. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit. And spirit, my friends, never dies. Avotenu Makor HaBracha Mimotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen. Mishmerach, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He has healed before. I know I say He. Mishmerach, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. God is not of a particular gender. He in the generic mankind, which includes womankind. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. So we saw the priesthood formed. Now we return to a book that's filled with nothing more than rules, laws, regulations, as we read tazria, she will conceive. It's usually read with next week's, except of course in leap years. And it's a perfect example of why this book loses readers. It's pure priest material. There's two little sections to it. One is on the purification of women after childbirth, and an introduction to the varieties and symptoms of leprosy, which is continued in next week's reading. Leviticus 12:1. Should a woman conceive and bear a male, she shall be unclean 7 days. Now what a statement. She will be unclean. Think about that. The very act of giving birth, the most natural event in the world. And to many, the real closest man gets to having creatorship like God makes a woman unclean. We have a formula. If she has a son, she's impure 7 days, and it will take 30 days to repurify. If it's a daughter, it's double, 14 days and 60 days. Now, do you think this has perpetuated stereotypes that continue to this day? Let's not get into a debate about the status of women. Women are actually revered in Judaism, but that's a whole other story. People have noticed an inequity there in terms of the length of time. And they forgot about something. What if you're not sure the baby changes its mind? Should there maybe be a 3/4 period where it's not quite twice the length of time? I mean, this is what society's become. And here's where we get another translation issue that colors the interpretation of things and has affected how we view the Bible to this day. You see, when her time is up, that is the woman who gave birth, or I guess these days it's called the birthing person who gave birth, she goes and sacrifices what's been called an offense offering. Now, the Hebrew chatat, as almost all English versions do not say offense offering. It's almost always translated as a sin offering. Very few translations will say offense offering. But surely the childbearing woman has done nothing that can be called a sin. And an offense and a sin are not the same thing. The state of ritual impurity imposed on her by biological circumstances makes her a potential source of violation of the temples, which would be an offense. And so she's instructed to present an offense offering that will mark the completion of her period of purification. It's not because she has done something wrong, but our translation doesn't help. Let's face it, blood is intimidating to an awfully large proportion of us. We look away when blood is drawn from ourselves or others. We can't bear to watch bloody scenes in drama. We get distressed at the idea of contact with another person's blood, or who, like Lady Macbeth, associate blood with guilt. Blood is powerful, physically, symbolically, emotionally. For a woman, it is a natural part of her life from the time of puberty. It's visible each month. For a man, blood is a sign that something is wrong, almost always associated with injury or illness. So blood creates images in our minds. When we think of sacrifices, we think of blood. Blood is the forbidden food because the life force flows through the blood. We're told that. That's why we're not allowed to eat it. And since the story of Cain and Abel, when we saw the blood called out from the earth, we saw that blood truly does have its own life force. Yeah, we all need someone we can bleed on. And if you're born, baby, well, you can bleed on me. We all need someone we can bleed on. Yeah. And if you're born, why don't you bleed on me? Not since we saw Jacob sneak off in the middle of the night with his family and possessions, and Rachel, having stolen her father's teraphim, or household gods, have we seen the view of women being impure. Laban could not, would not, search Rachel or her camel because she was having her period, referred to as the way of women. We've been told how blood contains the essence of life, and so it is sacred. But women and blood means impurity. This parsha is the first reference to women and reproduction since that earlier part, and it centers purely on impurity. And it makes it a condition. We've been cast into this world of division, impure and pure. This whole book is about it. This is impure. And the second half of the reading moves on to talk about other forms of impurity under the guise of leprosy, which is not really leprosy. And then next week we understand that the state of impurity is about its purification. It's not about the disease, but it's how you purify the person and their ultimate return. Because those afflicted become purified and get brought back in. Bringing back in is such an essential part of Judaism. When one has a visible problem on his or her skin, sore rash, discoloration, injury, scab, allergic reaction, loss of hair because of medical treatment, it's a special distress. It is embarrassing and frightening because it's visible. One feels ugly. One does not know how long it will last. One wonders if others are making fun or pitying or feeling disgusted. The laws in this section convey that it is not the person has done something wrong. It's not something intrinsic in the person's behavior. Being impure because of a skin condition does not mean that one has done something wrong any more than being impure because one happens to be menstruating means that one has done something wrong. The issue is that the qualified person, and in this case it is the priest, because this is the book of the priest, should identify the condition, the steps that should be taken to prevent it from spreading, and the afflicted person should become well and be returned to the community. We no longer treat these conditions through priests at the temple. We can still learn from this to be sensitive to the added distress, embarrassment, and vulnerability that's felt by those who suffer from illness and affect their appearances. When we see someone looks different, we segregate them. And even though the name of the disease has been misinterpreted for the past few thousand years, because this was actually not about leprosy as much as it was really about what's known as skin blanching, I wonder how an albino would be seen. Now, next week's about the purification and reunification to the group. You see, no matter what befalls us, we can all be healed, no matter who or what. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred, and so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free. Honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. We're only 10 days from the Festival of Freedom. Share and honor the light. All who live in the light continue to shine. Continue to send to everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. And end to terror and hatred, especially for those hostages. Remember, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love and fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life and tell those you love that you do love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe because we set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. It's all linked. You have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness, but do so with sincerity, with accountability, with vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being. Keep sharing. Keep shining. Keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love, because it's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart. Quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in your consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all the life circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too, because we share together. We learn together. We are here to help each other, because we are each of us trying to find the love and acceptance and support of life that we need. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them. Tell them what they mean, because you're never alone on your journey. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Listen to the voice of God as he, she, it, them, they, whatever you want to use, talks to you and reminds you that we're reading about how division and separation were the way, and we learned how to do it so well. But the time has come to stop and see the destruction that has brought. And we need to change our way of thinking. Change my way of thinking. Make myself a different set of rules. I'm gonna change my way of thinking. myself a different set of rules. Gonna put my good foot forward. Stop being influenced by fools. Who's influencing you? Well, thank you for joining me, my friends. Keep sharing the light. Practice forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself. Spread a little goodwill to the world. Continue to be the miracle in someone else's life. Be an example and teach someone how you became free. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Thanks. Bye.